to the Dynasty Network, TDN, your one source for information, updates, and news for Dynasty International. What's up, Dynasty International? Welcome to the Dynasty Network. This is episode 9. A quick recap of episode 8. Last week, we had our Financial Independence Day picnic at CB Smith Park here in South Florida. We had hundreds of people with their families come out to celebrate the weekend. We had a great time, food, fun, different festivities. We also covered very important topics in the phase 1 process of how to set appointments effectively. We went into the language required, the posture required, and the process in order to get people to go from the list to actually showing up to a presentation. Now for episode 9, we're going to zone in on step number 3 of the phase 1 process. And just to remind everybody, step 1 is to prospect and add names to lists. Step 2 is to set appointments. Step 3 is presentation. Step 4 is closing for a result. And step 5 is repeat steps 1 through 4. So today, we're going to sit down and discuss how to present effectively so that way you can start experiencing results immediately. When it comes to presenting the ACN opportunity, most people have fear about rejection, fear about messing the information up, fear about what the prospect may think. And just so you know, every single person from ETT to senior vice president experienced fear at one point in the process. And so the philosophy in the game is feel the fear, but do it anyways. Don't let the fear control your action. You want to make sure that you are thinking about the positive result that can come from taking the action. So either you're going to live a life that's driven by fear, or you're going to live a life driven by your dreams. And knowing that presenting is one of the most essential tools in this business to helping you accomplish your goals and dreams, it's absolutely important that you get past your fear, take on the action, and just do it anyways. Because the person that presents the most will ultimately build the fastest team and ultimately experience big success quick. So today we're going to break down the mechanics of how to do a presentation effectively, and so that every single person watching this video can start presenting immediately. When it comes to presenting the opportunity, there are different types of presentations. Typically, you have presentations for your warm market, presentations for your lukewarm market, and presentations for what we call your cold market. And what we find best for your warm market, lukewarm market is obviously home meetings. The most effective way to do this business is to get large groups of people at one time where we can show the information. The times that we will do smaller group meetings at a Starbucks or at a public neutral location will be mainly for people that you may not have that close personal contact or relationship with. Either way, the bottom line is it's about presenting the information, not perfectly, but effectively. It's not about being perfect, ladies and gentlemen. It's about really being able to just zone in on what the prospect's needs are and being able to explain ACN simple enough so that way they can grasp the concept and see the value of how ACN can benefit them and their lives. And so when it comes to presenting, today we're going to just showcase like a one-on-one situation. A couple tools you're going to need for your presentation will be obviously the 1 through 10 overview. You'll want to have the 24-hour game plan. You're going to want to have the IBO agreement. You want to have customer surveys. You need to have the tools, magazines, and DVDs. And at that point, now it's time to get into the information. Now, when it comes to the presentation itself, we always compare a combination lock to your prospect. What do I mean? Well, there are certain digits that a combination lock has that you must go through in order for the lock to open. And we believe with your prospect, there are certain pieces of information that you must go through in order to open your prospect up to get them to really want to take action with ACN. So when it comes to the combination lock, there are 7 steps in the combination lock. Step 1 is going to be your 30-second testimonial. That's going to be your chance to share with your prospect why you're doing ACN. And also, that's going to give them your story for them to relate with and see their own situation through you. Second step is to play the DVD. I like to show the short 5-minute video because all the credibility that's put on that DVD with Donald Trump and all the background information, huge. Third step is to go through the 1 through 10 overview. Fourth step is to go through what we call the 24-hour game plan. Fifth step is the IBO agreement. Sixth step is promoting the next event. And the 7th step is to go through the closing sequence and close for a result. So what I'm going to cover today is a 30-second testimonial. I'm going to talk about the 3 to 4 boxes in the 1 through 10 that we see most people have struggle with. And from there, we're going to go ahead and talk about how to get your prospect into action immediately. For your 30-second story, what you're going to go into is your past, your present, and your future. And so a lot of people think because they haven't had massive success that they don't feel comfortable or confident, telling their story doing a presentation. I just want to let you know that if you're new in this business, it's actually better because you're more relatable to your prospect. People are more interested in doing business with people that are like them, that they can relate with. And so when it comes to your 30-second story, I'll give you my old story before I started having success in ACN when I was an executive team trainer. Here was my story. My name's Max. I've been involved with ACN now for about 30 days. The reason why I got started in this business was because I need to pay for college. I want to become a lawyer. Tuition is about $50,000 every single year. And doing what I was doing, there was no way I was going to be able to make that happen. So I got introduced to ACN. Right away, I saw the value. And now my goal is in the next 6 to 12 months to be able to build my business where I can then pay for school and not have to worry about it. That's it. So notice how simple it was. I didn't have to exaggerate anything. I didn't have to force anything. I'm just telling my story the way it is. And believe it or not, your prospect will appreciate that. When it comes to presenting, there are 5 tips that we feel strongly that will allow you to be more effective in your presentation. The first tip we recommend is spending 1 minute per box. And the reason being is because it's not about the quantity of information, it's about the quality of information. Most people hearing information for the first time will only retain up to 10% of what they're hearing. So if they only retain 10% of what they're hearing, why speak more than you should? So by spending 1 minute per box, you're going to narrow down the most important things, the bottom line, black and white conversation you need to have per box. Number 2 tip that we recommend is using temperature checks. A temperature check is simply asking questions that will engage your prospect. Questions like, does that make sense? Are you with me so far? Don't you agree? Can we agree? By asking say yes questions, your prospect will be responsive and of course get engaged. The 3rd tip we recommend is using eye contact. Very important because we know just based on subliminal messaging, if you can't look someone in the eye, that's usually a sign that you can't be trusted. So by simply being able to look someone in the eye, smile, and have conversation, that's going to create more of a trust factor between you and that prospect. The 4th tip that we recommend is make the presentation more conversational. A lot of new IBOs, when presenting, are so focused on the information that all they're doing is talking to the prospect, telling them all the information. That's okay, but what's more effective is talking with the prospect, having a conversation just like friends would. The 5th and final tip we recommend is learning how to control the process. Meaning, during your presentation, your prospect may ask questions. What you want to do at the very beginning of the presentation is let them know, if you could, Mr. Prospect, hold all questions till the end, because by the end, all your questions will be answered. And if not, I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. And that way, you don't have to be interrupted and then have to go ahead and handle those questions during the presentation. When it comes to presenting outside of a PBR at a smaller setting such as a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts, you want to make sure you sit next to your prospect, not across from your prospect, and you want to do your best to include the upline that invited the prospect to see the information, just because it makes the prospect feel that much more comfortable. Now, when it comes to going through the 1 through 10 overview, every box serves a purpose, and your goal in your presentation is to make that purpose very clear. So the purpose of box 1 is to show ACN's credibility. The purpose of box 2 is to show that we offer services everybody uses. Purpose of box 3 is how we save customers money. Purpose of box 4, we compare hourly income with residual income. Purpose of box number 5 and 6 is to explain CEO income, residual income, and from there display the $11,000, $5,000, $1,000 a month residual income example. And obviously with that example, do what we call dream building. The purpose of box 7 is we create value for the $499, where we give the examples of having a job, having a traditional business, and having an ACN business of your own. Box number 8 is designed to show people how they can earn bonuses immediately, but also to start telling the stories of the upline leaders you're working with. Because we know facts tell, but stories sell. Box 9, we go into how ACN gives back. That's where we go into the charity and the Strive for 5. And box 10, in my opinion, is the most important box in the entire presentation. And the reason why is because now, and when you get into box 10, your goal is to get your prospect into action. So you went from just informing them to now getting them into action. And the way we do that is we fear of loss to prospect. We handle the 4 basic objections the prospect has. And then at that point, we then sort that prospect from being a potential IBO to being a customer. So now I'm going to give you an example of how to do box number 1, and from there jump to boxes 4 through 7. So, Rajeev, box number 1, you'll see the credibility of ACN. We've been around since 1993. Last year we did $700 million in revenue. We operate in 24 countries around the world. Donald Trump's our spokesperson. We've been featured in major magazines like Inc. Magazine, USA Today, most recently Success from Home. So when you look at all this, what you'll see is credibility. So notice how I emphasize credibility as I explain the box. Again, that's what I want him to retain in this presentation. Now let's jump right into the next few boxes. We're going to skip 2 and 3 and go straight to 4. So Rajeev, the first way we earn income in ACN is called residual income. Most people make an hourly income. They work, they get paid. They don't work, what happens?
Don't get paid.
They don't get paid. Residual means you do something one time and get paid over and over again. So as an example, you know Michael Jackson?
Yep.
We can agree he's dead, right?
Absolutely.
He's dead, but still making what?
Money.
And the reason why is because when his music is played, what happens to him?
Still gets paid.
We get paid the same way. Here's how it works. How often do people pay these bills?
Every single month.
Every month. So every time they pay these bills, you get paid a percentage. ACN pays you up to a full 10% of the bill every month. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Great. Now the second way we get paid, now we're going into box 5 and 6. The second way we get paid is where you can now work smart, build a team. As your team gets customers, you get paid off your team's customers. It's like getting paid like a CEO. In every single corporation, there's CEOs and then there's employees. Who would you say does most of the work, the CEO or the employees?
Employees.
Employees, but who makes most of the money?
CEO.
And the reason why is because CEOs get paid for the work their employees do. Make sense? So here's how this works at ACN. This is you right here.
Okay.
Let's say you introduce this business to 2 people. So you have Joe and Maria. Let's say Joe gets 20 customers. Maria gets 20 customers. That's a total of how many customers?
40 customers.
Every month, these 40 customers have to do what?
Pay a bill.
And when those bills get paid, Joe and Maria make money, and so would you. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Now, if Joe and Maria built their team and found 2 partners apiece, that's 4 more people added to your team. For all the customers they get, what would that mean for you?
Still get paid.
You still get paid. Now, this will continue to grow into 8 partners, 16 partners, 32, 64, then 128. If we were to add up your entire team, you would now have a team of over 254 people getting customers, and as they get customers, you earn residual income on every one of their customers. ACN pays you up to 8% on your IBO's customers. So to keep it simple, what's better, Rajeev? Getting paid residual income off your customers or getting paid residual income off your customers and a team of 250 people's customers? Option 1 or option 2?
Option 2.
Option 2. So using this example, let's plug in some numbers. Let's read the paragraph here. Here's what it says. Example assumes each IBO acquires customers totaling 20 services with an average monthly bill of $40. So what we're saying, everybody on your team got how many services?
20.
20. And the bill per service was how much?
$40.
With that example, your monthly residual income would be how much?
$11,000.
$11,000. Now that would come in how often?
Every month.
Every month. And the reason why is because people have to pay these bills how often?
Every single month.
Every single month. Could that make a difference for you?
Absolutely.
Of course. Now even if we get it 50% wrong, that's still how much?
$5,500.
$5,500. $60,000 per year residual income. Worst case scenario, you only get it 10% right. What does that mean? You're still bringing in $1,000 a month. So can an extra $1,000 a month in residual income help you out?
Absolutely.
Of course. The best part about this income is that it keeps coming in. People can pay off a house, people can pay off a car, but they can't pay off what we offer here. So that just means is when we go out there and build this business, customers continue to pay these bills, you'll be in a situation where you'll continue to receive income every single month. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Now, we're going to go into box number 7. Now, this is a business. This is not a job. When I first got started in ACN, my mentor explained to me the differences. He told me having a job is okay, but you can never become wealthy at a job. He says if you want to create wealth and freedom, you need to own a business. The problem with starting a business is that it takes money. As an example, if you wanted to buy a Verizon store, it's going to cost you over $1 million. If you wanted to buy a Sprint store, it's about 500 grand. So it can cost a lot of money, take a lot of time, and that's why most people can't even attempt to start a business. Now here at ACN, you can go into business with ACN and have all the partnerships and have access to all the support. To get started is a one-time cost of $499 to open your ACN business. Now what does this guarantee you? ACN provides you with what we call your online store. It's going to be hosted for free, updated every day. All the product information is built into your store. Your customers can buy direct through your store or over the phone with our 1-800 numbers. All the customer support is provided as well. All you have to do is acquire customers through your store and get other independent business owners to do the same. ACN takes care of the rest. Make sense so far?
Makes sense. Yep.
Great. So that was boxes 4 through 7. There are 2 purposes in box number 8. First purpose is to show Rajeev how to hit executive team trainer and make money immediately. And the second purpose is to edify your leadership sponsorship line. So let me show you how it's done. So Rajeev, the third way we get paid in our business is called bonuses. The first step to making money is we need to help you acquire 3 services right away. Make sense so far?
Yep.
Second step to making money in our business is to hit a position called executive team trainer. All this means is this: you have your first few services, we then find 2 people on your team, and they get their 3 services. Once you do this, and I help you do this, you're going to then earn from $100 up to $3,000 monthly in what we call team customer acquisition bonuses. Now, when it comes to finding your 2 people, I help you do it. It's not your job to explain the business. That's where I come in and support you through this process. You just got to be willing to invite the people, allow me to share the information. From there, we'll establish your team. Okay. Make sense so far?
Yep.
Great. So then once you go through that process of ETL, you keep it simple. When you start talking about team coordinator and above, you don't have to go into the details. Start telling the story of the leader you're working with. Pick your 1 or 2 leaders, whether it's your TC or RD. You don't have to tell everyone's story, just to key people in your organization that will be working directly with you and Rajeev. And that's usually where Success from Home magazine comes into play, because at that point, you want to whip out the magazine, show them the leader you're working with, right? And that obviously gets your friend Rajeev, your prospect, excited to come to one of our next events. When it comes to box 10, which we call the transitional box, all you do at this point is you're going to highly promote your training system, the support factor, letting them know you're going to help them every step of the way. And then at that point, you're going to go into what we call the fear of loss, and then the 4 big objections. You know, in Spartan training, which is coming up in the next few weeks, we go into major detail about how to create fear of loss, how to handle the 4 objections in the presentation. So you want to plug into that training in the next couple of weeks so you can get the rest of how to close effectively, present effectively, and ultimately get your prospect into action immediately. So Rajeev, when it comes to the business, we'll train you on everything. We'll teach you how to acquire customers. We'll teach you how to build a team. So there are 2 key points I want to leave you with. Number 1, timing is everything. And number 2, the 4 main objectives that most people have when it comes to getting started with ACN. So number 1, and at that point, what you want to do is you want to go through the process of explaining the fear of loss, why they need to get started now, and number 2, handling the 4 objections that most prospects have. Because at that point, you remove all the barriers, and now he's in a situation where he has clarity with the business, and now you can ask the key question. So based on what you've seen so far, Rajeev, do you see an opportunity to make money or just save money?
Make money.
Make money. And at that point, we transition into what we call the 24-hour game plan. Now that Rajeev has expressed interest, he's interested in making money, then we want to go into what we call the 24-hour game plan. The purpose of the 24-hour game plan is to prepare Rajeev for what actions he's going to take with this business if he's going to be successful. And that's why I always let him know if he cannot follow these 3 steps, we won't let him start with us. And so ultimately, we go through it. It explains the process, how he's going to go ETT. You keep it simple, and at that point, he'll know right away what's really involved here with the business. And based on that, we then go through the white form, the IBO agreement. When going through the white form, we cover a few key places on this form. The primary focus would be sponsor information, and then the $499 team trainer costs, which we tie that into what we call the cancellation. We let our IBO or potential IBO know if in 10 business days we don't see them following the system, putting forth the right effort, we would rather have them get a refund than stay in the business. And so once you go through the 1 through 10, 24-hour game plan, IBO agreement, then you want to create value for the next and immediate event. And so as an example, if it's a VIP event happening on Tuesday, you will basically say, there's a big event going on this Tuesday, clear your schedule. It's going to be invitation only. People will be coming in from out of town. People pay money to get in at the door. But if you're on my list, I'll make sure you're taken care of. I would just need to know if for sure you could be there. So you create massive value and exclusivity. And at that point, now it's all done. Now you want to go and have the conversation to enroll him into the business, which is what we call the one-on-one close. So now that you have the basics of presenting effectively, the most important thing you do right now is take action this week. It doesn't matter if you're a qualified team trainer or a team coordinator. We want everyone in our organization to get out their comfort zone, present this opportunity. Don't worry about being perfect. Be passionate. Just take the information, apply it right away. And remember, before you're great, you have to be good. Before you're good, you have to be bad. And before you're bad, you have to start. So the most important thing you do right now, this week, is commit to presenting on your own and getting established and getting your feet wet with the process.